Yeah, one of my mentors who actually ended up being my first boss was Beth Tedrow from Garden City Community College. And she had been in the profession for quite a few years. And she introduced me to AACRAO because she had gone to several conferences over the years and been involved. And so as a young uh, recruiter in the admissions field, she said, you know, you need to first get involved in the state level and Kansas, which I did. And then she says the next step will be to get involved in AACRAO. And so I was privileged enough to and honored enough to go to the first AACRAO office or meeting in Denver years ago when I first started in I think it was 1985-ish, somewhere in there was the introduction to AACRAO. And from there on, I just kind of volunteered for different committees and just kind of evolved from there as far as getting involved. It was called Evaluations Committee. It was paper evaluations, and we were trying to see how we could more modernize and make that process a little more efficient. Mm-hmm. So I just happened to be on that committee for 5 years in a row as the head of it. And mm-hmm. So as a result of that particular position, you were on the board, not officially, but you're kind of a person as far as an advisory of the board. So I was able to kind of observe the board functioning and helping it because I helped with some of the sessions and as far as organizing the sessions. That's and some of the people that were heading up some of the sessions and the different program groups. And so I was able to kind of see the structure of it. And so individuals just, saw how I worked with them and was a team player. And they encouraged me to put my name out there. And so as time went on, I said, well, I'll give it a try because I was on several other different committees and that kind of thing. And so I became a VP on the board. And then eventually they asked me to put my name up there for president. And mm-hmm. so I did and was, again, honored and privileged to be able to serve in that capacity. And so I was fortunate enough to have an institution that supported that. And things just worked out well. And so I was very honored to be able to do that. It's my philosophy is it's a team effort. It's not just with one individual. And so my collective wisdom and experience with those before me kind of shaped the direction that I wanted to go, because I wanted to honor those previous presidents like Dan and several others before me, then their hard work and move those initiatives forward. But at the same time, also push the board to consider, innovative ways to continue to make the organization relevant and alive in a sense. And so that's what my role was, is to really help the board kind of think and be visionaries. And so I did several different things to try to help them kind of think differently and not just get stuck in the rut, but rather look at how we can bring value-added programming and resources to our membership. And so it's really about, having that balance of keeping things from the past to keep going, the initiatives, but at the same time, keep moving forward and thinking futuristic in a sense. Yeah, be systemic about it and strategic as far as what you want to do and the direction you go. And again, using the data that's out there and data from opinions from others and their experience, as well as the analytical data that you get from AACRAO helps you kind of form and shape what direction the association at least should consider as far as going forward. The biggest thing is listen, because everybody has a story and it's a powerful story. We're story driven, right? That's who we are as people, is story driven. And so it takes time to really kind of listen to people's story, not only what they say, but what their nonverbals, and what they're not saying is, gives you a whole picture of their story. And so I really try to focus on, story and their story, and I'm enriched by it. I hope they're enriched by my story, but those are the things that moves people's hearts, and that's what we really are, is about heart people. And it really helps us to connect, but also learn from one another. but really I continually have heard that theme where people feel like it's a somewhat of a more intimate team, but also
Mm-hmm.
almost on the verge of a family in some context. And so that's the biggest thing is, just those connections, those rich, it seems like, even though we may not see each other for another year, from conference to conference, that kind of thing, or even a couple years, it's just like you haven't lost any time as soon as you see them. It's just like you're there again. And
Yeah.
so that speaks volumes of the connections that take place within AACRAO.